Hey guys, it's JQ Crafty. Welcome to another Product Focus Friday, and it's my How to Kill a Kit with Style. These American Crafts little mini kits that I'm using are part of that as well. I'm doing another scrap lift. Gonna scrap lift this one by... Well, first off, because I'm trying to pull it up so I can remember what it's called. So yeah, using American Crafts, older collections. I have 2011. This one's called the Garden Cafe. Lots of bright, kind of springy colors, but yet it was kind of fall at the same time. But yeah. And then today is Flair. We're supposed to use Flair. So I grabbed some of my Scrap and Happy Studio Flair that I have. Some ones that I thought would maybe go with what I'm doing or with the collection. A lot of this is honestly going to be very sarcastic, this layout, because I have pictures of my son. I can't remember for sure, but I feel like we were at the church for my mom's funeral. I don't remember for sure. It actually might have been my grandma's because we had already been there for my mom's and he was just sick of being at funerals, which I totally get. But, you know, kids wear their hearts on their sleeves. So I've got a very far away picture. He didn't want to sit by us. And then my husband zoomed in and got a closer photo of him. But I'm going to do this awesome layout. I'm going to scrap lift it. This is on my May I Scrap Lift You from May. It is now July. Yes, I realize. This is Jamie Gets Crafty. I loved this sketch or this layout. It was just so fun. A good way to use circles. So we're going to do that. I think I'm going to do the circles out of the stripe paper and do the background out of this polka dot paper. And then I think my title is going to be Not Impressed. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted to do the circles the size of the Flair or just put the Flair on some of the circles is what I think I might doing. And then tuck some things in. I have some florals. We might tuck those in and the butterfly. We will see. I don't know. It might be kind of fun to do that with these pictures. But yeah, so let's get started. So this was a fun one to scrap lift. I really like the way it turns out. It's definitely not very boy, but it's more about the feeling of why the photos were taken that I wanted to capture, not necessarily that it was about my son. But I did confirm it actually was the morning of, I think it was the morning of my mom's funeral, or we might have just been there getting things ready. He just, you know, everyone grieves and kids are amazing. And it was just his way of showing that he was upset. And so we were not going to like punish him or anything. It was just very funny that he was sitting so far away and just giving us this look. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But, yeah, my kid is amazingly resilient. Let me tell you that. So I am going ahead and taking my Grand Antique Creative Memories circle punch, and I am punching out the 1-inch circles out of that diagonal stripe paper, and I'm going to make sure that they kind of go different directions. I don't want to try and line them up, because if I try and line them up, then it'll look wonky. So if I purposely make them look wonky, or I'll go all different directions, it's all good. So I'm just kind of picking out what Flair I want. I'm just placing them on the circles. They're not necessarily all going to go on the circles. Some of them do, but I'm going through and picking out some of them. I only have some from Scrap and Happy Studio, and then a couple random type Flair, and they call them dots, from, I think, Shimmer's Paints, right? And I'm super excited. I have some Dottie About Flair on its way. I can't wait to try them, because I believe theirs are like more actual, like, feel more like the metal backed ones, if I am not mistaken, based on what I could hear when I was watching the June release. So I got a lucky dip box, so I can't wait for that to arrive. So in this kit, there were a bunch of different things. There were some paper, like those accordion folded like up flowers with a button in the middle, and then a random flower cluster of felt, and then a butterfly. So I'm actually going to use all those things because I figured, why not? I will use them up on this layout. I am matting my two photos on white. I cut them down quite a bit just because they didn't need to be. There was a lot of like space, just empty space in the photos. So I kept them true to the fact that one is definitely zoomed in and the other one isn't. And you can definitely still see that even though I trimmed them down. But I'm going to, mat them on white, and then I'm going to grab this brown pattern paper. Is it the back? No, it's not the back of any of the ones I used. Or is it the back of the polka dot one? It is. It is the back of the diagonal stripe one. And I'm just going to create a little photo block basically for my photos on there. And I'm going to distress the edges of that, and then that leads me to want to distress the edges of all the circles and all the way around my layout. And then I'm going to take my walnut stain distress oxide and ink all the edges as well after I have distressed them. So I'm right there. I'm doing that with that photo block. But this layout, after like the labor of distressing everything, inking everything, and cutting out the circles, after that's done, it doesn't take long at all. And I even did a lot of journaling, just talking about how even though he was not impressed in these photos, like we were impressed with him, and he was an amazing kid. And it's like he knew that he didn't say much about going except for missing Nana. And the journaling is very detailed in that, and I was able to journal a lot, which was nice. I had some of my big 12 by 12 pages I don't get to journal a ton on, and so it was really nice to be able to just journal on this one and not let it be just all about the photos. But I really like the way this one turned out, and it's so far one of my favorites. And maybe it's just because of the subject. I don't know, but it did turn out really good. So I got this floral paper because I wanted a little bit more of that brown kind of to be brought around, because I put that photo mat of brown. So I'm gutting the floral paper. So there's some of the colors and some florals, but just barely, just to kind of tie it all together. And I'm gonna mat the green on there, and I will go ahead and grab some of my Tattered Angels mists. I have it's like burlap canvas or something like that is the color. It's like a brown and just got a shimmer to it. I will splatter some of that. Right there. I'm going to do that across the center just to add a little bit of mixed media to the background before I lay the photos and everything else down, but just to do something. And then I'm just going to start plunking down the little bits of embellishments that came with, and the Flair that I picked out. I ended up picking out, there's one that says Brave, there's one that says Gather, there's one that says Today, there's one that says Shine Bright, and then there's one that's a rainbow. So a couple of them will be in like little clusters. I'm going to do kind of a cluster down the left side of the photo, and then one on the upper right side of the photos. And then I'm going to put the butterfly by the title. So I grabbed my favorite tiny foam alphas and do the word impressed. I wanted to do not in that turquoise color. I didn't have any teas. Like I was out of teas on all my more dimensional colored alphas. But I remembered I did have a wood grain, and that would bring some of the brown in there as well. So I grabbed a wood grain thicker. It's spelled not. And then one of the Flair that says Today will go right there. So it says Today, Not Impressed. And then below all that will be the journaling. But I'll place the butterfly next to that title. And then I actually will also... I'm doing my lines for my journaling. I couldn't tell what I was doing for a second. I was like, what am I doing? I will also go ahead, and then after I made, so you'll see here in a second, because I didn't do I'm putting the butterfly up. So after I make my two clusters, like the one with the felt flower, like embellishment, and the Brave up on the upper right, which I'm going to start putting those together now, I think. Yep. And then on the left-hand side of the photo, I do the two other florals and then the Shine Bright. I felt like they just needed something else. They looked a little bare, so I just grabbed one of my little leftover bins, and I actually had some Paige Evans florals that I had fussy cut out of one of her papers, I think from a 6x8 paper pad. Or it might have been a bigger page. I don't remember. But I think, yeah. And I just happened to have a little pink flower, a little orangey flower, and a little turquoise flower. And they were all the same colors that are in this collection. So I just tucked them into the clusters as well, just to add a little bit of something. And I think they did the job. So it's very random, the clusters. They definitely don't look like they they're not symmetrical, they're nothing's the same in each one, except for there's a paper flower, there's flowers, and there's an enamel or a Flair. But in general, the whole layout I think looks cohesive, so it doesn't bother me, and I used up the embellishments, so that's really what matters. But here's some close-up. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you next Friday. Bye. Oh, make sure to check out everybody else who's playing along down below too. I think it's mostly Rebecca. Bye.